inspirational, educational, and you won't want to miss it. It's everything agriculture. Hey, this man Easy, inviting you to tune in. It's all about everything agriculture with the man Banky and Company alongside Yason Tafari. It's your weekly educational show. And tune in. It's inspirational, educational, and you won't want to miss it. It's everything agriculture. Hey, this man Easy, inviting you to tune in. It's all about everything agriculture with the man Banky and Company alongside Yason Tafari. It's your weekly educational show. And tune in. It's inspirational, educational, and you won't want to miss it. It's everything agriculture. Hey, this man Easy, inviting you to tune in. It's all about everything agriculture with the man Banky and Company alongside Yason Tafari. It's your weekly educational show. And tune in. It's inspirational, educational, and you won't want to miss it. It's everything agriculture. Hey, this man Easy, inviting you to tune in. It's all about everything agriculture with the man Banky and Company alongside Yason Tafari. It's your weekly educational show. And tune in. It's inspirational, educational, and you won't want to miss it. It's everything agriculture. Hey, this man Easy, inviting you to tune in. It's all about everything agriculture with the man Banky and Company alongside Yason Tafari. It's your weekly educational show. And tune in. It's inspirational, educational, and you won't want to miss it. It's everything agriculture.
Greetings and welcome to the Everything Agriculture Show on Real Entertainment Network. I'm your host, Banky, and my other co-host, Yason Tafari. This evening, our guest will be Mr. Walcott James. But before we get into that, let me say good evening to the folks in Oli and Liamiga, which is the traditional name for St. Kitts and Nevis. Also, good evening to the folks in the neighboring islands, Sabre, Statia, St. Martin, the Virgin Islands, and the BVI. Folks over in Montserrat, over in Antigua and Barbuda, also along the coast of St. Vincent, the Grenadines, and Grenada, and throughout the whole Leeward and Windward Island. Not forgetting the folks in the diaspora from North America. I know you guys going through some serious winter storm right now, and a lot of roads pile up and stuff like that. So just be safe out there. Make sure your heat is up and running, because there's been a lot of death throughout the states and never seen storm like this over 150 years. So good evening to our folks all over the diaspora, and also the folks over in Europe in a different time zone, whichever is appropriate. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Thank you for choosing Real Entertainment Network. And remember, this evening's show is sponsored by Shabba's Organics and Mansell's Last Stop, where you come and get your fresh fruits and vegetables and your home cooked meal. If you just want to find a place to come and chill, walk along the farm and get some farming inspiration, that's the place to come. So thanks all those who've been coming out and support and patronizing. Greatly appreciated. So this evening, we're going to have a discussion with Mr. Walcott James. He's a crop technician, farmer, employee with the Navy's Island Administration as a chief extension officer. So he was one of the decision makers. So he's one who is very well versed when it comes to speaking on crops and different topics, and when it comes to the importation of food and food security and stuff like that. So this is we're speaking about finance when it comes to the agricultural sector and different topics of when it comes to imports and anything that you want to speak about. So Yasan, good evening to you, and how you doing?
Global greetings. Welcome to another edition of Everything Agriculture. It's a pleasure to be here on the platform, and it's a pleasure to be in the company of yourself and another agricultural expert, Mr. Walcott James, veteran in the agricultural sector here on Nevis, and practically, I guess he has given a number of years of his life to the art form, the craft, the skill, however one may choose to term it. Mr. Walcott James is a prominent agricultural expert and Nevis in Kitts and Nevis with decades of experience in extension services and farmer support. He has served as Chief Extension Officer and Director of Agriculture in Nevis, promoting modern farming techniques, food security, and crop cultivation during challenges like dry spells. James is actively involved in the New River Farmers Cooperative at New River Estate, contributing to projects like cold storage facilities, spring rehabilitation for irrigation, and climate adaptation efforts. And this is just a small synopsis of the man who we are going to be speaking with this evening. So I've opted to give you a little backdrop, so to speak, as we would now give him an opportunity to introduce himself and share a little bit of, himself, who he is, and a little bit more of um, his expertise. Now, Mr. James, I know you're not a stranger to the platform. We would have had you on the platform several times. And so, we can nearly even call you a co-host, not necessarily a guest, but a co-host. But at the same time, every time we do the show, we do have new listeners, um, new people who sign on and log on. And so we want to give you the opportunity to introduce yourself, give us a little backdrop of, who you are, where you're coming from, even your heritage, and then a little bit about your agricultural background. And I would have shared a little bit in in that short bio, but then you could add to anything that I probably missed out, and then we could get into some questions and the topic that we are going to be dealing with this evening, specifically on the financial side, or the finance aspect of agriculture. So thank you. Welcome to another edition of Everything Agriculture.
Well, good evening to Jason and Banky, and good evening to the viewers and the listeners, wherever you are, in the cold, in the heat, whatever. It's a real honor to be here again once more with the two of you, and hoping to share some information, just to be able to educate ourselves, educate whoever is paying attention to this program tonight. Yes, I say my name is Walcott James. I'm actually from the Dominican Republic. Next month, the 3rd, it will be 33 years since I came to the Federation. Came to the Federation the 3rd of February, 1992. And I've been engaged in the agriculture sector for most of the time. I started working in the agriculture sector in the Dominican Republic. I've been working in extension all my life. And I used to work at CADI as an assistant technician based in Nevis. Then I worked agriculture from 2001 to 2019. Then 2019 until COVID, I joined 4 seasons. I was the villa landscaping manager. So my experience has been in the agriculture sector. Now I'm retired from the sector and I do my own farming, but I'm still very active, involved in the agriculture sector. I always provide technical advice to farmers, which is my love, and it is where I spend all my professional career. And yes, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm the former Chief Extension Officer for the Department of Agriculture. I was not the director, I was a Chief Extension Officer. I work with a lot of people there, you know what I'm saying? So yes, it is important for us to start talking about the agriculture sector tonight. I believe it's a very important subject to discuss. And one of the aspects, as you mentioned, is the financing. The financing is a very important aspect that we consider that we should touch a little, just basic aspect of financing. We have been observing throughout the years that the traditional farmer or the farmers, they very often they lack in proper financing for the farm, for the crop, for the industry, which is the business, which is the farm. In the Federation, we do not have a finance institution for farmers. We do not have that. We have banks, we have institutions that lend to farmers now and then. We have a very good institution in Nevis, where we are, as it's called CEDU, that really is established by government that lend money for businesses. If you're a farmer, you have access also to some fund, you understand? I could say that so far has been very good, but it's the only institution that provides some farming finances with some flexibility. But if you go to any bank, in the federation or specifically in the US, there's no bank, no institution that say, okay, we have a portfolio here, we have a allotted amount, we have a sector to assist the farming industry in the island. And personally, for me, that is a problem. That is a problem because it limits the opportunities for traditional farmers, you understand, to be able to have access to those funds. Every year for Christmas, for instance, for the Christmas season, all the banks have loans promotion up to $100,000, $50,000, $10,000 for you to buy a car, for you to buy a house, for you to travel. During the summer, they have loans for parents to buy the school things for the children. But you don't see nobody say we have this package for farmers. And why is that? Why is that? We understand, all of us understand how risky farming business is, how risky it is. You understand? But still, we all both talking about farming and how we encourage people to become farmers. And then when we're not satisfied, when we see that the farming is not playing the role at the level that we expect them from them, then we say you have to, pull up your socks, things like that. So I believe and I suggest that we really have to have a discussion about that. I know that there have been a lot of ongoing discussion when it comes to financing, also when it comes to insurance of the farm, which is a subject that we're not going to touch. But about the insurance also, even we're not going to touch, we have been talking about this for years and years and years. We believe that we are a little closer to some institution, regional or local institution, to become insurance for farming. We don't know the nitty-gritty of those plans, how we're going to work out, you understand? But another aspect of the finance that we have is that even institutions that lend you some money to do some type of farming, as I said, they don't have a specific portfolio for farming, so they don't have an infrastructure, they don't have a structure, they don't have the persons responsible for dealing with the farming aspect. So therefore, they might lend you some money, but it's nobody to assist as to how that money is going to be spent. It's nobody to assist as to how that money, how the farmer will be guided as to how to manage and how to put the money to function properly for the intended purpose. So I believe it's time for us to have a serious discussion about our future in the farming industry and how the finance institution will come to play a significant role when it comes to that. You know that you could be doing farming for 5 years, and sometimes for 3 years or 2 years you have failure after failure after failure. So you need some financing for you to continue your role. And sometimes when you need finance and you ask for financing, perhaps the finance may not be there, and that's when you
Mr.
most need.
James,
And then the farming.
we have had Minister of Agriculture in government, both in navies and both in the federal government, who studied agriculture. And presently, we still have a minister in the federal cabinet who practice agriculture. You see what I mean? So he understands the inputs and what it takes to the level to get there and to be sustainable and all. It's not like they don't know. So why are they not putting, because there's money, as you just explained, their money there for carnival time, their bank loans for carnival time, bank loan for travel, and all kind of stuff when it comes to summer times and or music festival coming up, there'll be loans for music festival. But as you said, there's no one offering farmers any loans, any, you understand, whether it's for a vehicle and I just to invest in some machineries and stuff like that. So why is this not happening? There have to be
It's
a
another
reason.
fact.
So what is the reason?
It's another. We have to find out what are the reasons, because I don't believe it's only one reason. But I could tell you something. One aspect of this is that we have been saying, which is real, we have been getting this assistance to this farmer, that farmer, this farmer. For instance, we just came out of 25-25. It was a lot of money in St. Kitts that was shared to farmers. And now 25-25 been extended for 5 more years. I don't know the reason. I do not know the reason. I guess the reason, but I haven't heard nobody come to say why the reason. But it was a lot of money that was allocated to farmers. One factor that we say is that we give farmers some assistance with seedling, drip, plastic mulch, this and that, and the farmer do not deliver. Do not deliver. We see that some of the farmers do not grow, even though we supply some assistance. So that brings me to the question. So in that case, what to do? We have to put the whole structure together. We assist you, and you have to respond. Very often, we just see that we assist, or the institution assists, the farmer do not respond, and it stays like that. So it's a two-way situation. Everybody has to understand, because at the end of the day, the only important thing is that we need to get the food. That is the only thing that really matters. The money is there. Money is there. A lot of institutions have money all around the place, but we're not getting the food. So what we are going to do as a country to be able to get the food? In a while, I will share some information, some important information that I always share when I come to this program. We're not getting the food. Our importation continue to be the same level as of 33 years ago. And sometimes we feel proud, we feel satisfied, and we vote and we say we improve this, we improve it. But when you come to the totality of the importation, the numbers are just exaggerated. So we have to demand from the farmers, we have to demand from the institution, we have to demand from ourselves, the policymakers, as to how we're going to consolidate this situation, how we're going to fine-tune, how we are going to develop.
How can you encourage a farmer to plant more? And then who the farmer is going to give this stuff to? Is the farmer going to give this stuff to a government marketing division or to a private individual or fighting to get it to a supermarket? So if you're going to encourage me to grow and you want someone like me, you want for £5,000 a million every 3 months, who going to give that to? Just one market? And when will I get paid? So how will some, because in order to encourage farmers to grow more, it means you need storage space too. So you need a whole moving parts of engine in place for this thing to work. So you see what I mean? And for everything for it to be successful, you need seed, you need equipment should be there at the same when you need it at the response. So it means you need a lot of resources to make this moving parts works, because a lot of moving parts and the extension staff have a part to play, the marketing staff have a part to play, and the community and everybody must be a part of this process for it to work, because you can't push tourism and then you give them foreign food to eat, and the food, you drive on the island, you see a kind of food stall with pineapples and this and that, and then the food is coming off a ram shelf, and then you're telling the tourists they're being bought grown locally. So we got to be honest within ourselves. If you really want
Yes.
this thing to work, you as the professional convince me as a farmer why should I go more to compete with this? Why should I go more to bring on the food import bill and then my food is spoiled and I can't get my food sell? Convince me.
Well, yes. Okay. So we used to have a marketing building in Bayfront with a one chill. No good. We invested, the government invested in a new infrastructure, physical infrastructure with new. So they have now 6 chill. So the storage facility went from like 5,000 to maybe 30, 40,000 pounds at any given time. I don't have the exact figure. So you have a marketing unit, marketing division, which is a marketing model. I use it all the time. I advocate for that. It's perfect? Of course not. It's far from perfect. It needs a lot of improvements, yes, but I use it all the time. I'm a witness that I use it. Personally, has been beneficial to me, but I do not want to talk about me. So, marketing structure need to be revised. The commodities have to be revised. The responsibility of the, you said, extension division, of course, it plays a very important role it plays when it comes to the technical advice to farmers and recommendation as to what to plant, quantities, how the markets, and all of those stuff. Yes, all of that. So that's why I say the whole industry needs to be discussed and revised, and we see where we need improvement, what level of improvement we need, you understand? And then we have to take it from there. We have to go back to basics. We have to sit down and pull back and say, we have a problem. Our problem is that we still import 90% of what we eat. If we want to hide it, we could hide it. But the reality remains that we continue to import 90%, 80%, whatever. You understand? So that is our problem. Now, where I have to fix, the finances have to be revised, as we say. The marketing have to be revised and see what level of improvement it needs. The total market opportunities, the market demand have to be revised. And everybody has to understand that we have to play a role in moving forward. We have to determine where we want to reach. Okay, so we have imported 90%. How much we want to reduce that importation in the next year, in the next 5 years? With a tangible solution, with realistic solution. How much we can reduce in the next 5 years? 5%? 10%? One commodity at a time? 2 commodities at a time? What is required? So what farmer will be able to get some finances? How are we going to demand from that farmer that get that finances, that he use it for the intended purpose? Who going to monitor and make sure that the farmer does that? For instance, if you go to a bank or any institution and the farmers get a loan for $25,000, $50,000, what guarantee we have that he know how to use it? And who's going to police that farmer to give him assistance and guidance as to how to use it? Somebody have to be involved directly in that aspect. In this institution, agriculture have to be involved whenever any institution provide a cent to a farmer for it to be able to produce. The institution has to say, agriculture needs, I have this farmer here, I have Jason here, he came to borrow $25,000. What you say about Jason? You believe I should give Jason 25, 50, 75, 80, $100,000 for his farm? You have the history, you know him, we don't know him, we do not know him. And how you could guarantee us that he will be able to invest that money in the farm and that the island will be able to see the result, and that we will be able to get our money back for our institution to be able to lend to somebody else. That is have to be discussed. They have to be discussed. So as I say, we could be able to reduce importation by 10%, 25% in the next five years. We have to be realistic and say yes or no, we could reduce 10%. But we have to start. We have to start. We have to revise everything that we have because it makes no sense where we are right now. It makes no sense. And I know that tomorrow, after people listen to that program, will say, oh, Mr. James is saying this, but we have a lot of progress. Yes, we have a lot of progress. It's enough. No, it's not enough because look where we are. We're still discussing this. Some people don't like to discuss it openly because it's compromising, but we have to because we have to move forward. And I will show some data, you understand? I will show some data. So again, I say, is somebody going to lend a farmer some money? Need the blessing or the approval or the direction or the recommendation of the department, because the department know all the farmers in the island and will say no, banking not going to pay the money because banking not going to do nothing. And we know banking for the last 5 years is not doing nothing. Not because
I think he got muted a bit because a call came in, so we missed anything that you were saying just the time. Mr.
Can
James,
you hear me?
I'm hearing you now.
Yes,
So
sorry
let
about
me continue with the point that you were making.
Yes, so if the lending institution will lend some money to banking, they should have information history about banking, and they will be able to know banking is not going to pay. So we just not going to lend the money because he's not production, not because of money, because of negligence. But we say Jason is a farmer who we have been working with him for the last 5 years. Okay, he's promising. Yes, you could give him the money. And we will make sure that we see some progress because we will work alongside with him. The extension division will be assisting him on a day-to-day basis, shoulder to shoulder. We will be monitoring because we want Jason to be successful because we need for him to pay the money and we need for him to improve his livelihood. And we need his food for the island because we want to reduce the amount of cassava by at least 10%. And I know that he can contribute.
Mr. James, as I listen to you, right, I know that in the past there was a program, I think it was put on by the SIDF, I think back then. There was
Yes.
a seed program, finance where they finance some small businesses. And one of the things that I loved about that program is exactly what you are suggesting, where it was not only that they lent to the money, but they would have had someone attached to the business that would have helped the business person with the bookkeeping and the record keeping and the accounting and all of those things. Because as I listen to you, I know truly that is one of the major problems that we have on the island, and not necessarily on the island, but I dare to say on St. Kitts and Nevis and within the Caribbean region as a whole. We do have great farmers, no doubt about it. We have wonderful, excellent farmers, expert farmers. But when it comes to the business side of things, that may be an area where some are lacking. So, since we know that that is the problem, and this is what I'm saying, I listen to you and I listen to some of the problems, and I wonder if, one, if it is us just waiting for the government to get themselves together to do these things, or if we're going to have to, in the sense of whether it's cooperatives or individual farmers, have to set up themselves in a way to make examples for this to happen. Because as you're saying, this is what is needed. And on that side, where you get that guidance with the finance, and then there's the other side that you spoke to, where Banky asks the question, you're encouraging me to farm, you're encouraging me to produce, but then after I produce, what do you have in place to take care of the surplus that I'm going to bring in? Because you tell a man like Banky to plant watermelon. Banky might go and bring in 200,000 pounds of watermelon in 3 months. do you have the capacity to deal with that? I mean, how are you going to help Banky? So is it Banky going to just waste his time and plant his watermelon and then don't have a market for it? Or marketing is going to be properly organized in a way that they are linked up with whatever other outside markets. They have a link with agro processing so that they're going to take Banky's watermelon and make icicles or popsicles or whatever other smoothies or whatever other value added products that they're going to make from the watermelon, so that they can give Banky a set price, and Banky can just plant watermelon and bring in as much as you want, and then marketing deal with it. Now, if that's the case, I could see with that, and that is part of the problem that I have. You would hear agriculture give out seedlings, or you would hear them give out this, that. But is there a plan set up so that after you have cultivated these things, you have a sure market to handle these things? So
Okay.
I listen to you, and these are some of the things that jump out at me. So tell me how you would address some of these things.
I mentioned earlier already, we have a marketing structure with some new buildings with 6 chill with tremendous capacity. You understand? So far has been operating. You understand? You have to be improved, of course, yes. Then we have to see how much have to be improved and what areas to be improved. So far, we don't have a system that you produce 200,000 pounds of anything and bring it and we just sell and give it. We don't have that system. We have a system that we acquire your product. They have a system. They acquire your product. They look for market and they sell and they pay you on a fortnightly basis. They pay you. They give you a check. So they look for it. But the point is that if we see the level of importation and what is imported, then we will be able to be guided after first what can we grow, what are we good at, and the quantities, because the whole thing have to be there. Okay, every month we need 2 acres of watermelon. If we get 5 acres, it will be excess. We need X amount of tomato, X amount of pepper, X amount of this. So far, all of them have been way below the demanded level because have been substituted by import. So let us not worry right now that what we're going to do is where we at, because the point is that the supermarket importing things because they're not getting it local. They have clientele to satisfy, and every week they importing stuff, a lot of stuff. And I say I will share some information. I will share some data just from November and December. Just some data with some commodities.
Mr. James, those who are listening to us will be saying, but what Mr. James is saying, isn't this discussion been having every day upon years? Because you're saying the food import bill practically been the same for the last 30 plus years. And you're telling me all the scientists that is at each department, because I want to think agriculture is one that sector that have the most well-trained people, and you can correct me, and who have the knowledge and expertise and more expertise than anyone can in any other department. So with all these experts that we are talking about, and if there's one thing with agricultural people, they can tell you how much one each crop gonna give you, whether it's 1 tomato plant or 2 herbs. They could tell you how long you can have it to call them the experts scientifically. So they know the data, they know it, they know the methodology. So why it is not happening? That is it a willful act? Is it a willful act? What is that happening?
I will repeat myself. We need to have this discussion. Not agriculture.
This discussion is not new. Which discussion you mean?
But the point is that's the reason why we have it, because it's not new, but we're still here. So what are we going to do? Unless you have we're still here. The reality is that we're still here. We're still short. So yes, agriculture have the expert and the farmers are experts.
So when the minister,
we have to.
when the premier the Minister of Agriculture, the director, the PSM say we are doing so great and and all these things. So that is what this is. So what is that then? Can we still stock? So what is that? Are we going
We
backward? Are we improving? Which
they
it look like
they have been
it look like we're moving back, it look like we're moving forward. So it's just an illusion then.
well.
It's like magic.
Why
Houdini.
cannot say
Is it Houdini? Illusion?
I cannot say no. I cannot say that all areas are stuck. I cannot say that not all areas are improving. We have some improvement. I'm agree with that. We have some areas of improvement, but we have some areas that we have to have a serious discussion
Like
because
which areas?
it doesn't matter whether. Pardon me.
Which areas? Which area? List some of the areas that need discussion. The top
Is
five.
the area. No, the area that no. We have to have discussion because the level of importation is too high up to today. That's why I say we have to have discussion. We need to discuss because we need to say in the next 5 years we have to reduce these imports. When we go
So
to the
can it work?
supermarket, we have to.
So can it work?
So that it
Can
could
we
work.
reduce? Can it work? Can it work?
No, we have to have a discussion to make it a reality, to make it work. That's why we have to sit down, all of us together, farmers and governments and NGOs and everybody, because this is everybody's responsibility. NGOs, CADI, AICA, ROC, agriculture, farmers group, college, schools, everybody, the general public, the importers, everybody have to sit down and we have to come with how we're going to move. Because I could tell you something, an importer bringing watermelon from overseas, because he have to sell. But those watermelon come from Mexico. That's not convenient. Even if we get a lower price, it's not convenient for him. It's not convenient for him. He have to do it because he have to satisfy his customers. But if he don't have to bring watermelon, he get them from here, then he would put something else in that container that comes every Tuesday or Thursday. You understand? So nobody have to listen to what I say. We have to listen to what is actually occurring and how we're going to face it and what we're going to do. We could choose to continue the way we are, but I know that this area, they know that the crop sector need to increase the level of production and productivity. That is our reality. That is not come from me.
Mr. James, okay, I listened to the example that you just gave, right, in terms of watermelon. Okay, so
Yes.
well, to be able to sustain the island consistently with watermelon for the entire year, this is going to take either 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 farmers. It could be 1 farmer too. I mean, maybe. But it would take planning in terms of rotation, having because in order for it to be consistent, because this is part of the problem that most of, whether it's the supermarkets or the hotels or the restaurants, have consistency, and that is one of the reasons why I guess sometimes they end up dependent imports, because they know the boat is going to come in at that
Yeah.
time or whatever it is, and they're going to have, and they're going to be able to have on their chill until the next boat or whatever the case is. So how would you go about getting these maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, how many farmers that you're going to need to get to this quota, to say, okay, this is what you're going to do. You're going to have all the resources that you need in order to plant watermelon. I have the market spaces already. All you got to do is make sure that we have this on a consistent basis all year round. How would you suggest that we fix that?
Our production is low right now. Our productivity is low right now. I would not want for it to go from low productivity to 100% satisfaction. Let's take it step by step, baby step. What is our gap right now? We see our gap based on discussion that all of us have together. We see our gap. and then we take it from there. Say, okay, let's increase watermelon production, let's say 15%, 20%, if it's feasible, because we have to take into account a lot of factors whenever we want to increase even one single commodity. We have to see different factors. So we see what is the situation with watermelon. And we know historically how the watermelon move. We know that for summer, watermelon goes through a lot of stress. We know that for the rainy season, which is the hurricane season, watermelon could go through a lot of stress. So in the summer, it's very hot. So those are some factors that we have to twinkle to see how we go, you understand? But in the rainy season, which is hurricane, then we have a lot of risk. I know farmers very often during the hurricane season lose a whole set of watermelon because now it's too much rain. In the summer, it's too dry and hot, and therefore a lot of deformation, poor pollination, etc., etc. So it's for us to discuss how much we willing to push to increase watermelon in the next year or two. And we discuss about those specific, who will be involved, who will be trained, who will be qualified for this area, what farmers we're going to choose to do that. And then we take it from there. And then we go to tomato, pepper, whatever, and then we move on there. But in a holistic way, we see what commodities we can work in the near future, what is needed, how the market looks, what is the offer demand, and we take it from there, you understand? I'm not planning for us to discuss and see how we could solve all the problems in 1 or 2 years, but how to start to improve and solve those areas that are affecting the production that are provoking such a high importation. You understand? That is what I want to say. For instance, you want for me to share some importation data? Is prudent now for me to go there?
Okay, yeah, get any comments, and then go to the data. Any comments you want to get off, and if by anyone, and then you go to the data. You make pause, Yasan.
Sorry, I'm seeing one comment on the wall right now saying, Woodland Hill says, good evening from Florida. Comment says farmers need to, okay, let me go back to this one here. Farmers need to work together, and if we work together, we can have a steady flow of food and feed ourselves. Not everyone plant the same thing at the same time. We need to get serious. So that's one of the comments from one of the listeners. That's the feedback. That's one of the feedback right now. Let's see what's going on in terms of any other comments. Okay, I'm not seeing any other comments at this point. So I guess
okay, Mr. James, you can.
Okay, so I have this import data for November, December. This is provided by the quarantine department, Mr. Quincy Bad Department of Agriculture. So I just choose from the report some commodities that we could manage because we used to grow them in the past, and we grow them, but we need to increase the production. We have cabbage, cantaloupe, honeydew, peppers, which is, a variety, green and color perhaps, sweet potato, watermelon. For instance, in November, we imported 11,000 pounds of watermelon. In December, 12,000 pounds of watermelon. The total amount of watermelon imported for those 2 months is 23,655 pounds of watermelon for just 2 months. 23,655 pounds. Cantaloupes. We have some cantaloupes that all supermarkets, the same variety of cantaloupe that all supermarkets import here, major supermarkets. Some native cantaloupe. people understand that they're not sweet. And the same happened with some honeydew, some green, pale green color. People understand that they are not sweet. Let me just pause. Let me just make a comment. The cantaloupes and the honeydew that they import at the supermarket, they are not sweet, not because they are imported. That's not correct. They are not sweet because of the variety. They are not sweet because of the stage of harvesting, of picking. Those cantaloupes come sometimes from Central America or Mexico, and they have to pick them half, 3/4 full to be able to ship. And that is for the American market. They don't demand, high concentration of sugar in those fruits. But in our case, we want them sweet. So if you grow the same cantaloupe and the same honeydew here, the same variety that you see in the supermarket, the sugar content is extreme. It's very high. They're very, very delicious fruit. You understand? So once you grow them here, and you allow them to fully ripe, mature, and you sell them, you will see how nice they are. So cantaloupe in November, 4,700 pounds imported. In December, 6,100 pounds, with a total of almost 11,000 pounds of cantaloupes for the month for December, November, December. Honeydew, 5,200 for November, 7,000 for December. A total of 12,000 pounds imported, more than 12,000 pounds imported in 2 months. The peppers, 5,100 in November, 7,500 in December, with a total of almost 13,000 pounds of peppers in 2 months. Sweet potato, 900 November, 6,500 pounds in December, almost 7,500 pounds of sweet potato imported in just 2 months. Watermelon, in November, 4,600, in December, 5,300, with a total of almost 10,000 pounds of watermelon in just 2 months. In just 2 months. And then we have some market opportunity that they call niche. I call it market opportunity commodities that you could do something. We have beets. We imported 1,800 pounds of beets in November, 2,300 pounds in December, with a total of almost 4,300 pounds of beets imported in 2 months. Broccoli, 8,600 for November, 7,200 for December, 9,300 pounds of broccoli. Butternut squash, 1,600 for November, 2,600 for December, 4,200 pounds imported in 2 months. Celery, which is something, celery, 2,700 November, 3,500 pounds imported in December. A total of almost 6,200 pounds of celery. Cucumber, almost 2,800 pounds for November, almost 5,000 pounds for December, with a total of almost 8,000 pounds of cucumber imported in 2 months. And then we have the lettuce, which we're doing very good with the greenhouses in the lettuce. But we're still importing in those 2 months the Alsatian and the romaine. We imported 13,000 pounds of lettuce. November 5,500, December 7,600 pounds of lettuce, with a total of 1,300 pounds of lettuce in just 2 months. If you extrapolate that for whatever month you want, it will tell you the date. It will tell you the opportunity. So these numbers, we're not going to see it only as a negativity factor. Let's see as an opportunity market that is there, is wide open. So from all of this, how much we can satisfy? How much? 100%? No. 50%? 20%? We have to figure out how much of this we will be able to transform in the next few years. You cannot continue to go to the supermarkets and you have 32 commodities From those
Well,
32 commodities, you had two.
well, let's say you had to add jelly on top of that. Well, what would you say? If they collect the import for
Well,
jelly, can you see and
no,
plantain,
I don't
and
see
you
how
know what I
you
mean,
have the data.
when they Dominica boat and yam and
I,
dashing and all them, you see what I mean?
it's,
All those things are coming from
I,
Dominica boat, those data are not being collected.
that's why we have to have a discussion. We're
So
going into, we're
you tell
pushing
me,
out for coconut production.
so the
Pardon?
data from that collect off the Dominica boat that comes here from the Windward Islands with all those
I
bananas,
don't,
and then bananas come, those are not collected. Those
yeah.
are
I know that, for instance, when it comes to bananas and planting, one supermarket told me that when it comes to planting, it's about planting is about maybe 500 pounds per week. Bananas is higher than that. Just one single supermarket. So if you add up that by 5 supermarkets, plus the host, the vendors, the street vendors, plus the hotels, and
so
you
you
will
need
see the
3,000
amount
pounds.
of,
You need weekly over 5,000 pounds of planting then.
yes, definitely, I agree with that. So those are those,
Weekly.
yes,
'Cause
weekly. You understand?
right now there's no planting available, and we write
No,
bananas and so forth. And I realized that this today somebody stopped me and said, "Banky, look at my table." I said, "Well, I have
yes.
planting, a lot of planting," and I saw I said to her, "Send somebody can get a hand of planting."
And then the planting that you see there coming from the Dominican Republic, the banana coming from the Dominican Republic, those yellow bananas that you see there, they come from
Yes,
now the yellow banana. I call them yellow banana because you know they're yellow.
yes.
Everybody looking for those yellow bananas, and nobody wants the traditional. So that is another additional aspect that you have to add to the bananas. It's not just simple bananas; it's yellow bananas, which give us a wider opportunity. You understand? Because you could be an importer, you could be a riper. You could ripe them and you could have a business just by ripening banana. You understand? So this data is just a nutshell of what is happening. You understand? Or from what we could take advantage of what we could take advantage. So we definitely need to have a discussion. I know that people will say, oh, Mr. James bring the same data all the time. Repetition is key for learning. Repetition is key. We have to repeat. We have to repeat, you understand, so that people could understand the importance of this data. You understand? We're not just collecting
No,
data for collecting sake.
what you just shows there, it shows that there's a market for cabbage by itself. There's a market for
Of course,
celery.
yes.
But you hear you're importing over
Of course, yes.
7,500 pounds of celery, and that is just so, which means
Yes,
there's a niche market for every crop. Basically,
yes.
there's a market.
It's an
Okay,
opportunity.
it mean they're importing even up to herbs. They import. You see
Well,
what
let me tell you.
interesting it is?
Let me, let,
Yes.
let me say this
Mr.
before.
James, one second, Mr. James.
Jason, let me just say. Jason, let me just say one thing.
Uh-huh.
I think it's mint of time. 1 pound of mint of time is $58 in a supermarket here. 1 pound of tea, I think it's mint, is 58. It's $58 for 1 pound. How difficult for us to grow mint? How difficult for somebody special in time? And it's $58 for 1 pound. So they give you a little pack, and you take it for $5, and you believe it. Oh, this sounds not good. You don't know how much is that. That's only a couple roots, couple branches. You understand? For $5, $6, $7. But when you check the unit price, it's $58 per pound, and we importing that. We importing mint every week. We import mint every single week. We import mint in all supermarkets. Yes. Sorry about that.
Okay, no problem. But I just wanted to add a comment here in relation to when Banky asked the question. So somebody commented that the data for the Dominica boat is collected by the Sinkage quarantine. Dominica boat don't dock in Nevis anymore. So I guess maybe that's why there's not much data that's
Yes.
collected on that side, right? Justin Huggins says, good night, guys. Justin Huggins says, good show. And we continue. Now, I listen to what you're saying, and I think that I am glad that you're bringing these kinds of information and throwing out these kinds of suggestion, because it is quite important for us to begin to think out of the box and look at farming from a different perspective. And I'm glad that you brought out those other, products that are being sold that we could grow, but many of us are not focusing on. I spoke to a youngster the other day, and just what you said about the mint, that is something that he was telling me that he's looking to specialize in, whether it's mint and basil and those kinds of things. And you think about it, those are alternatives that you can get into and might not necessarily be affected so much by monkeys. And so that's another way of looking at it. That you create a kind of niche market for yourself to some extent with
Yeah,
something
but
that
yes,
might.
and the monkey probably
Yeah.
have to be sold. You can't jump up,
No, I'm
jump over
not
the
saying
problem.
Let
that.
me, let,
I'm just looking
listen,
at the
let me,
same time. Okay, if you
let me
plant
talk about,
watermelon, per se, maybe the monkey might interfere with that. But then if you plant mint,
Let James let James come
yes.
in. Let James come in. Come in, James.
no, listen, I'm a pragmatic guy, I'm a realistic. We say, let's eradicate the monkey, let's put them, I'm not sustaining the type of discussion with nobody. I just allow everybody to survive. We have a monkey problem started from the 1600. I've heard that since 1600 we have a monkey problem. We have a what I call it, a palliative, alternative, temporary solution for the monkeys: electrical fencing. We have to be realistic. We cannot pretend to solve every problem. We have listen. Uh, if you're going into farming, we have to remember. We say we have to have a business mentality. If you have a youngster or an old person or a woman want to go into farming, we have to tell them how much land do you have. We have to start. That's where we have to start it. Because how much land you have? I have 1 acre of land. You have 1 acre of land, so you need $30,000 for you to jumpstart your farm. We have to tell them that. We have, because that's the problem we have. We don't want to be. We don't want to tell the people the truth. You have 1 acre of land. You need $30,000. Why I need $30,000? Because you have monkeys from Charleston behind the coach going to the honky to either stop by the honkies, a government road, and you have them in the New River, and you have them in Nevis, you have them at the airport, and you have them at Phoenix. You have monkeys in Nevis. Anywhere you go, you have monkeys. So people say, oh, if I fence my land, the monkey going to eat somebody else. Yes, that is true. It's unfortunate, but it's true. When you put a dog to protect your land, the thief have to go to the neighbor to steal because he don't want to come to face your dog. That's why you have dogs, you understand? So a young fella come from high school, he say want to do farming. The first question, how much money you have? No, I'm broke. Go to the city, look for a job then. And when you get $25,000, or when you have some, or go to city or the bank and get $25,000, and then you come and we could sustain this discussion. We have to forget about that whole discussion that, oh, give me this, give me that. And then we have to help where we can. So when you get $25,000 and you buy drip, you buy mat, you buy diamond wire, you buy electrical unit, and you put a fence, and the monkeys your level of success with electrical fence is way above 90% once you do it properly. It's way above 90%. And then you establish 1 acre of watermelon, which is 1 acre you have, you will grow watermelon, you put 1 acre watermelon, you harvest 10, 15,000 pounds of watermelon, you sell it for 150 a pound, whatever. And in 2 crops in a year, you recover the investment that you did. Because the thing is that when you buy a car, you still have to pay the car for 5 or 7 years. When you invest in a house, you have 25 years to pay back for the house. You're not expecting benefit right away. We have an investment. So the same philosophy, the same concept has to be applied for farming going forward. We cannot pretend that it would be just, we have a concept of farmers for poor people or broke people, and you just need, some kind of help. Do you know something that in the past in Nevis, for you to get duty concession on a vehicle, it needed to be a pickup? Otherwise, you could not get duty concession in a vehicle. You know why? Because the concept, it was that if you have a pickup, you could give a lift to a farmer. We should go way beyond that. We cannot continue to talk those type of language. There was a very subjective way of looking at farming, that farming is for poor people. I asked a young fella yesterday, what you planning to do? I give him a lift from Zion to Gingerland School. What you planning to do? Oh, I want to be an operator. An operator of what? Machinery. Okay, great. What about farming? No, not really. Why not? Because it's too much work. Okay, how much money an operator will make and how much money a farmer will make? Then he not sure about a farmer, but he know about an operator. Because we have been repeating the same thing and the same concept. You understand? So if somebody going to do farming here in Nevis, tell them to do electrical fence. You don't have to believe me. Just go around and see all the farmers that are being successful in Nevis, that they keep the monkeys outside. It will solve the problem, the eternal problem? No. But it will assist more than 90%. I pause.
Yes, son.
Okay. Yeah. So that's quite interesting. The thing is, we do have a lot of young people who want to get in agriculture, and I love how you pointed out the fact that they have to invest. It's an investment,
Yes.
and they have to, find a way to get that money and to protect their investment. And I love the fact that you kind of did a little comparison in showing the fact that um, you could get returns on your investment in basically 2 to 3 crops. That sort of investment that you spoke of when you gave the example of a watermelon versus a car that you may have to take 5 years to pay for, and or a house that you may take 25 years to pay for. So I love how you are able to put the finance into perspective and give young people an opportunity to see the financial rewards from agriculture, and if they decide to take that route. Sometimes, and I guess this is one of the things too, sometimes we don't necessarily highlight that aspect, and I guess that is because a lot of the times the business side of agriculture is not necessarily explored or highlighted. It's more or less people looking at the hard work and the dirty work and all of that, as they say, right? Um, from a cooperative standpoint, because in terms of finance and finance for farmers, one of the ways that farmers can also benefit is from being a part of a cooperative. I know that you have been involved with the New Rivers Cooperative for some time, and the New Rivers Cooperative have been successful in you know putting on a number of projects, and is actually in the process of putting on a project at the moment. But before we get into maybe your role and the New Rivers Cooperative specifically, talk about the benefits of a cooperative for farmers and why maybe farmers
Yes,
should
son.
get involved with
Before we
cooperatives.
get before we get into that, let me take a break. Can we done Ghana, and then we can, then when we come in, we could touch that and open the lines at the same time. Can we done Ghana at the top of the hour? So if the technician is there,
Okay, no
then
problem.
can give us, and then we take a break, and then we give James a couple minutes break, drink, drink some water, whatever we need to do, and then we come back in. Technician, just give us a sign if you know you're ready to go to the break, and we just come back with the new topic. guide your son. I'm going to communicate with the technician.
Okay, yeah. So I was just looking at cooperatives. So when we come back from the break, James, I guess that's the angle that we are going to look at cooperatives and the benefits of being in a cooperative, and why should farmers on a whole seek to get involved with cooperatives. It speaks to the topic that we're dealing with in terms of finance, because there's a lot of not just financial gains, but technical gains and others from being a part of cooperatives. If the technician is
Well,
ready,
yes.
they can always just give us a signal and just move straight to so. After the break, James, we'll be back.
We mute.
Yeah, well, I guess I thought that we would have taken